button and obviously subscribe to Guna Matters. Now we've got a newbie in the studio. Ty, my man, tell us about yourself and welcome to Guna Matters.
Thank you so much for inviting me on to Guna Matters. Honestly, it's when I got your email, I just knew that this was going to be something awesome. And then when I actually checked out the previous content that you uploaded on YouTube channel, I was pretty excited. There's always some good discussions that goes on the channel, and I honestly like it. So a little bit about
Lovely.
me. I'm a Barcelona fan, but when it comes to the overall football knowledge, I like to spread myself as much as possible. So whether it's the Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A, whether even I'm starting to get into the Eredivisie as well and the MLS now because of Messi's influence. So I just love football. So my thing is wherever I can put myself into a football discussion, I'm definitely there. So I'm just looking forward to having an awesome discussion with you gentlemen today.
Great stuff. I must say, Ty, that you have much more subscribers than I have. By all means, I don't mind that because you've got various topics. I see. I've obviously stalked you a bit. Guys, total Thai talks. He's got good content. He's got great content. I mean, every topic that you want to think about, it's obviously up for discussion on that channel. So go over there, subscribe, like, and share, and make the most of the topics that he's obviously entertaining you guys with. But yeah, welcome again, brother, and I hope that you will enjoy yourself tonight. Yeah, and that is basic, bro. There's my man. How are you, bro?
I'm good, brother. As always, here to enforce it. I'm just going to bring it like I always do. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this because I've missed it. And yeah, let's crack on and talk about football and Arsenal and everything in between.
Lovely. Tell me, what is the situation in Geordie Town? How's the Geordies doing, bro?
They're quite excited for the new season. They think they're going to do well this season. So we'll have to wait and see. I think they'll do well at home. I don't think they'll do so well away. But we'll see.
All
They've
right,
spent
but
a
they've
lot
got
of money.
quite a couple of new signings. I mean, Tonelli, and they've got
Yeah,
the exciting Barnes, and Eddie Howe has been pretty much um, a hero for the town or the city, I believe.
yeah. I mean, Barnes doesn't excite me as much as probably it does everybody else. The Italian lad Tonioli, he looks a good player. Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of their players have gone to Saudi because Maximan's gone to Saudi, and so I still think it's like the Arsenal, mate. It's still a work in progress. But I think like last year, they got a lot higher than they thought they were going to in a shorter space of time.
Exactly.
So we'll just have to see how it goes. You know.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So,
I
yeah,
think that's going to be the problem for Newcastle this season.
they've got a lot of games here. They've got a
Oh,
lot
sorry
of.
about that. I just want to say I think that is they're going to have a lot of games. I think that's the problem. The fact that they definitely expectations last season.
Mm,
So the problem is that again is only going to harm them because I mean we've seen this happen to Leicester, and now unfortunately there's a good possibility it's going to happen to Newcastle because they went from being the team that everyone was bragging about them spending smartly last season and spending the money wisely, getting Dan Burn into the team and literally putting so much faith in Callum Wilson in the squad, but now they decide to spend money on what's the defenseman again? Tonali, spending money on him, and then also there's still a lot of other players that they are interested in. So definitely they're going to take it till the end of the transfer window. They're going to bolster their squad, but hopefully they can actually live up to all the hype.
that is one interesting thing. Before I'm gonna respond to that. Yurik, my man, how are you, brother? Yo, it has been a minute. Are you
Good
well?
evening, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. Sorry for pitching up late. The South African problems that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Good to see you,
Um,
Yorick. Good to see you, brother.
Tyron, Yurik next to you is also no
Nice to
stranger
meet you,
to the
Yuri.
channel. He's
Hi,
been with
hi,
us for quite a
guys.
while, and of course, remember Des. You and Des has been on the show together before. Um,
Can I just expand on something that Ty said. I
yeah, sure.
think I just on the Newcastle thing, just quickly. This could be the season for Isaac, sorry, to shine, not Isaac, Isaac. this could be the season. I mean, he showed glimpses of it last season, but I think he's going to do better this season. And Arsenal should have
Definitely.
gone.
And the same thing with Harvey Barnes. Like honestly, I'm one of the people that's for the Harvey Barnes signing because I know he's a boring player, but the thing is he gets you what you need. And sometimes you just need that kind of player in your squad. Like I honestly feel like he's gonna score some important goals this season.
I don't want to
Sure.
disagree with you straight away, Ty, but who would you have gone for when Maddison was available and Harvey Barnes? Who would you have gone for?
Nah, I totally
But
get
that's
that. I do totally get
that's a
that
different
argument.
type of player,
I
though.
would have gone for Madison.
Do you know
I
what
would
I'm
have gone
saying?
for Madison because at the end of the day, that is what Newcastle needed. Newcastle needed a creative player in the squad. But then you also take into consideration they knew Saint Maxim was going to be leaving. So now they're like, okay, we need a solid starting left wing on that side. Even though we have Gordon, he's not necessarily showing that he's a definite start squad. He's not necessarily proving it. So now it's like, okay, what do we do? Let's go for Harvey Barnes. We can kind of get him on a cheaper deal. We know he's going to get us something. He's that safe bet option. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand why they went for Harvey Barnes.
Yeah. But
And I mean, the
those
window's
two
still
are
open, so they could still be going after a creative attacking midfielder. Like that could still be coming.
obviously, but those are two different opportunity, or rather, two different type of players. Because Harvey Barnes is because they have obviously lost what's his name, the number 10 to Saudi Arabia.
Maxim.
That's
Saint
the
Maxim.
replacement Saint Maximum for replacement for Saint Maximum. I mean, if Madison had to go there, then obviously who are they going to sort of drop between Tonali and Bruno? Because Bruno is more an advanced player than Tonali. So, I mean, Bruno has been their star player last season. I mean, let's be honest. Madison is not going to get into that team with Bruno there. Definitely not.
Oh, I don't know.
Especially,
Again, I respectfully disagree. I respectfully
well,
disagree because I think
y-
it's all about competition, isn't it? And I think
it is,
Maddison would have given Bruno good competition.
definitely will, but he's not going to be the starter in Premier League. He'll probably get into maybe a cup game or maybe rotation, depending who they're playing. But in top teams, if they're playing top 5, top 6 teams, Bruno is going to be your guy. Or if you play them together, but I'm sure Tonali is going to have to wait and see how he's going to fit into that team because Madison has the experience in the Premier League. He'll probably top the Tonali spot, but you want to have a number 6, a natural number 6 there, and,
Yeah.
and let Bruno be your number 8 type of player. Yurik, um, I know you said to me you haven't been up to standard with all the incomings and outgoings and whatnot. Just from a perspective, what happened today in 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 the transfer market? It's a crazy Friday in the transfer market. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen anything with Liverpool and Chelsea and Brighton. Um, Firstly, Brighton agreed with Liverpool for the player to go there, and then Chelsea stepped in. From your experience in terms of transfers and agents of the agents that are involved in these type of dealings, um, do you think the player has anything to gain from this?
I think basically the clubs agreed, and obviously the player haven't agreed yet, and that's the case in terms of Cancelo. If
Mm,
you, uh, I think Poch must have had a conversation with him, obviously about his project at Chelsea, and the difference. He would obviously weigh the difference between the two projects because any football club is about who the manager is, and it's about the project itself.
yeah,
When a new manager comes in, it's about the project and how much the club is willing to invest in the project. And in
yeah.
terms of between the two projects, it doesn't look like Liverpool is serious about going for the league at the moment. The way they're going about the transfer business,
Is that
and
biased
I think
because
that
you're a United fan, or is it just
now,
genuine?
not just in general, in terms of the support that any coach that's going for the league, that he needs the financial support
Yeah, yeah.
I think Klopp is gonna struggle this season. Obvious. For me, it's just obvious.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
What?
and while Brighton, while you get very good managers that like Brighton's manager that manage to do what with what they have and bring in the quality, but as a coach, you also limited.
Mm.
If you have the financial support, you can really express yourself, which is
Yeah,
not
but
the case with Klopp at
it's
the
good
moment.
business. It's good business from a Brighton's perspective because I mean, what they bought the guy for 4.5 million, pardon me, 18 months ago, and they're selling him for, sure, how many times more than that? 1,000 times more than that.
And that's the thing with the football. Everybody is, like I always say, everybody's focusing on the players, but sometimes you have a coach or a manager that comes in that's really special,
Mm.
and all you can do is hang on and hold on to him. And I think with Brighton's coach, they got something special in him.
Yeah,
Seriously.
What what I've noticed with this transfer window, this transfer window, guys, is though the money's not in Europe.
it's in
So
England.
if I give you an example, right? So if we want to expand on this, right? You take Balogun from Arsenal as an example, okay? Inter Milan have come in for him. They can't afford him, yeah, for what Arsenal want. So now they're looking at Monaco. The money's not in Europe, right? It's in the big teams like Bayern Munich because they've just paid 100 million for Kane, haven't they? Yeah. But the smaller,
Yeah.
well, when I say small, because AC Milan, sorry, Inter Milan is not a smaller team. But even Barcelona, your team, Barcelona, have got financial issues, haven't they, Ty? Do you know what I mean? And
The the thing is, so, sorry to interrupt your word there.
I know,
The problem with oh, sorry, thanks for that. The problem is it's because so many leagues are trying to instill the financial fair play rule now. So Italy is doing the same, and that's kind of the problem with the spending money. Like sometimes clubs aren't actually like think about it, do you really think Barcelona doesn't have money? We're not poor. It's just the fact that we so stung on the fact that we can't spend any of the money that we have because of the financial situation. So your wage structure is not supposed to go over a certain amount. If it does, unfortunately, you have to then bring it down, and that means you have to sell players. You have to go for certain deals here and there. And unfortunately, that's what Inter Milan is doing. So if you think about it, 3 years ago when they had a squad with Mkhitaryan, they had Lautaro Martinez, they had Lukaku, they had Dzeko as their striker, they had all of these old age players that were playing in their squad. Their defenders was it De Vrij, they had Skriniar, all of them were on 200,000 a week. So now you have all of these players in a squad, and unfortunately those players get old.
Mm.
Now Skriniar, you're lucky enough that you can get money by PSG, but you're not going to get the same for the other
yeah,
players. So now they have to leave, and now you sitting with all this that are you sitting with a wage structure that just doesn't work for your club. And that was the same, and that was what happened at Barcelona. I mean, literally, we still have a Sergio Roberto that's in the squad now that's on 270,000 a week. And I mean, does that make any sense to you?
no,
He's not good enough to play in our squad. He's our fourth. He's our
No,
captain
no,
now. But I mean, technically, because he doesn't make the squad,
no, no,
he's a third choice captain. But he's on
but
270,000 a
that's
And
the
week.
that's
problem.
why
That
I also think the way when the owners bought Newcastle, the way they went about their business was very clever.
yes, didn't
And
spend big.
very
Yeah,
strategic
they were.
and very strategic. And I think, like I mentioned previously when I was on the show about Ishak was an Arsenal player that got away.
Mhm.
turn his camera off, please, Glenn. Turn his camera off. We'll have less of
Yeah,
that,
no,
please.
that's the problem what the guys are doing at the big clubs because now I mean look at Liverpool. Look, they offering 110, 111 million for Casado. He's got a full Premier League experience. He's 18 months at the club, but he's got one full Premier League experience. Um, to me, it suggested he's not worth that amount of money. However, Brighton obviously wanted a bidding war, and they got what they wanted. Now, the problem with that is, for argument's sake, he's going to Liverpool. What is his wage structure going to be? Say 150 a week, right? Now, Brighton has put a selling clause, a selling on clause in that structure, So for whatever amount, and it's less than 100 million. So whenever Liverpool is ready to sell him, they can buy him back for less than what they sold him for. So I
Yeah,
mean, that's the problem with these big funds and all sorts of things. Sorry, Des,
Look
you wanted
what
to?
I was just going to say, yeah, I just want to thank the guy in the chat, Abdu. He's just told me that England's part of Europe. Yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying is, Abdu, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, you obviously don't know me well enough yet, but you will. Um, all I'm saying, all I'm saying is,
Des,
folks, when
Des, do
I
you
say
want a red
money,
card now, or do you want a red card later?
oh, just give it me now, give it me now. But all I'm saying is, apart from England, yeah, the Premier League, there is
Yeah,
no money in Europe.
the Premier League
Yeah,
especially.
there
Yeah.
is no money in
Yeah,
Europe, and Chelsea are the you can clip you, Abdul, you can clip this, right? I don't mind if you clip it. Chelsea are ruining the market in the Premier League.
Des,
it's still,
Oh,
Des,
it's still.
uh, anyway, right. So Chelsea are ruining the
I
market,
totally agree with you, Des.
huh? So again,
I totally agree
yeah,
with you. It's
Chelsea are
still.
ruining the market in the UK in the Premier League because they're trying to bully everybody off every player. But it's so
obviously.
stupid. It's not good business practice because
No.
you can't play all these players. You've got two teams of players, and
Three
one half
teams.
of the team you can't even play. Yeah, and now the Saudis are coming in with big prices, which is obviously what they can do. Yeah, the market is absolutely saturated. And
Yeah,
look, for example, I can only use my team as examples again, right? Um, Declan Rice, 105 million. That is the new 50, 60, 70 million pound player. So, do you see what I'm saying? So, Caicedo, right? And you can clip this. Caicedo is a good player, but the reason he's held out and held out and held out is because he wants to provide for his family. The main reason is he wants to provide for his family. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, this is what Brighton wanted. Brighton wanted Chelsea and Liverpool to bang heads and compete with each other because obviously they get a big piece of cheddar. They're getting a good payday. Yeah, it's how the transfer window is now going, and there's so many people now. For example, I mean it's always happened, but all I've noticed on a lot of YouTube, influencers regarding football. I mean, I see videos every day. I watch a guy, the Terry. Yeah. Oh, deal. Kudos to Arsenal. Deal on. Kudos to Arsenal. Deal done. It's not done yet. Yeah. Um, Hoyland. All right, he's done now. But
yeah.
up until Hoyland signed, oh, Hoyland's coming to Man United. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Caicedo's coming to Chelsea. Well, if you're going on he's going to Liverpool. So it's people. You just we're so bombarded now and we're so interested in transfers that sometimes it's hard to believe. I mean, if you think about it, really, it took Arsenal quite a while to get Rice over the line.
It did,
And to
yeah.
be honest, out of the three players that we've signed, Timber, oh my God, what a player. What an
Insane
absolute
player.
baller. What an absolute baller. And I'm not taking anything away from Declan Rice because I know he's talented. Yeah. But I just, no disrespect to Gabriel Magalhaes, right? I just want to see against Forest. I want to see Saliba and Timber in the middle together. That would be a great way to start the game. But going back to my original point, the market is absolutely saturated at the moment, and that's why teams are getting. Let's be honest, Caicedo is a great player, but he's not worth 110 million.
No, it's not.
He's not.
Never.
He's
No.
not. And the thing is, it's not going to calm down or it's not going to calm down. But they're accusing a lot of teams now of cheating, aren't they? Man, it's uh, don't get me wrong, it hasn't been proven yet, but Man City have been accused of cheating. Chelsea are now being accused of cheating. Yeah, it's all like Ty said, it's all to do with this fair play, whatever it's meant to be. But it doesn't seem to
And I
work.
mean, it's still what you're saying. Like the problem is Premier League teams have the power to bully other teams. And like it was just a couple of weeks ago when I was watching Talk Sport, and then they said Then when Aston Villa secured the signing of Musa Diaby, then I mean 55 million, not bad. He's, however, leaving Leverkusen, a top team in Germany, to go to Aston Villa, and Aston Villa ended 7th last season, where at the same time you have Atletico Madrid that was interested in signing him, you have Juventus that was interested in signing him, and also Bayern Munich that was interested in signing him. He said no to all of them, and he decided to go to Aston Villa. And then also you have another example of Pau Torres, who they also signed. Now I love La Liga, and Pau Torres is a special defender, and he left Villarreal, who a boyhood player, been playing there all the years, one of the best defenders, and he left them as well to go to Aston Villa. But it's all because of what the Premier League offers you. And I know it's definitely not the weather, because why would you leave Spain and stuff to do that? But it's something else that the Premier League is offering you. And you guys can take a guess at what that is.
It's the money. Look, it's simple. Like they said, the market is so saturated. One thing I wanted to say is that none of these guys, even Declan Rice, is not worth the money we sort of went in for, because no player can be that money worth. You know what I mean? There's players.
You paid 65 for Kai Havertz.
Exactly. There's players so much. I mean, 72 million United Zurich for Hoyland. How can you pay that amount of money for a youngster that had scored 9 goals consecutively in a league season? How?
It doesn't even make sense, because normally I know that when Liverpool sign players or used to sign players, they have a system, so they will look at the stats of the players in all the games, and obviously it's all about the numbers game today. They normally look at the stats of the players and make their decision based on that, and that's how they sign. They used to sign players like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the way things is happening now, the stat doesn't even make sense.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
One of my worst examples is when Newcastle signed Livramento. That is another example of technically how English players do get overhyped a lot. And the fact that he cost, I think it was somewhere between 35 and 40 million to Newcastle. And it's just like you said earlier. Just like you said earlier, he's also an example of a player that has 1 year under his belt. He only has 30 Premier League appearances to his name. Previously made a 5 million, but now he's going for 35 million. That's the world that we live in today.
Well, you sorry guys, but you could say that about to me, Timber 40 million bargain.
But he has Champions League experience though. That's different. He's been playing top of the league with a club that wins the league every season except for last season. It's a top player for 40 million like that. Compare the two. Compare him to Livramento. Amazing.
Well, that's a farm league tie.
Themselves now, because you wanted him over the little Argentinian fella, didn't you? You wanted Timber first, didn't you?
Yeah.
And look what happened. Look what's happened. But also, I want to say one thing about a player we've already got, Odegaard, my boy, last season.
The Viking, Odin's son.
The Norway, the Glaswegian, yeah. Scored the most goals for Arsenal last season, most assists, right? We got him for £30 million. So if you're going on stats, right? Is that boy worth £100 million now?
Yes, more than 100.
Probably, yeah.
Exactly.
He is.
But the thing is, the transfer market isn't FIFA. It isn't FIFA 23. Yeah?
I get what you mean, because it's kind of like, even though he performed so well, does that, like, if we just thinking about like 5 to 10 years ago, does that constitute a player that's now immediately worth 100 million? Like, I get what you mean. Like, at one point, I could understand the idea behind Mbappe going for 150 million to Monaco. I mean, from Monaco to PSG, I could understand that at one point, because it's a player that destined to win the World Cup, all of that. But now you're talking about almost any player is worth 100 million these days.
England is part of Europe, days.
Yeah, I know. I did obviously. I'm the enforcer. But hey, easy now. Easy. Yorick, suck in the air. Think about what you're doing. No, it's cool. Genuinely, I genuinely made a mistake. But it's just because I didn't word it properly. But do you know what? call me mad, right? And people can clip this as well, yeah. I wouldn't have Mbappe. I wouldn't have Mbappe at Arsenal, right? For one reason only. Look what he did to PSG. He got to PSG and he was telling them who he wanted to play with.
Mm.
But do you
When does
think that's a problem with Mbappe or the club allowing it though?
It's the club allowing
Because
it because
that's
I
what
mean,
I also
if
think, yeah.
that's what I was going to expand on. That's what I was going to say. When does the club own the player, or when does it become that the player tells owns the club? You know
look,
what I
That's
mean?
when the club starts
if
telling
you
you we're going to build the team around you. Then all of a
Look,
around
sudden the
you,
whole mindset
we can
changes.
Exactly, exactly.
we can look at it from a lot of different angles, but for me, the players know who is the coaches that makes them great and which
yeah,
projects that they want to be involved with, and that's the
But then you
bottom
get
line.
Mbappe who played with 5 coaches in 6 years.
Yeah, so
But
that,
the
that
thing is,
that's the owners forcing the
Shit.
coach to play a player.
but you must
and I
also
know why
understand
people would say
he's
I was mad. I know why people would say I was mad because you know he's going to score you the same amount of goals as probably what Haaland did for Man City. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the madness part of it. But end of the day, does he mess up the dynamic of your dressing room?
he does because I mean,
That's the argument being thrown at Barcelona now for Neymar. Neymar offered himself to Barcelona to come back, but the president of the club wants him back because he basically he's an easy player to bring in that will sell some shirts and stuff. But at the same time, that's what Xavi said. He said, "No, I don't want him because he's going to mess up the dynamics of the club. Where
yeah,
immediately everything
It's all
has
about
to
the
go
money.
through him. Where now it's like we have a dynamic team where we can create from any part of the field.
yeah.
So I get
Look,
it. I get your argument.
the thing is with Mbappe, I mean, the only time that I heard in his case where his contract states that normally you would have a club and maybe Yurik you can maybe help out is normally you have the club have the option to activate your extension of 12 months perhaps, but in his case he had that option in his contract to say I will activate the 12 months, not the club, but the player. I mean, they alone it should have told you, you know what, I want to rule you as PSG because, I mean, you are the club, you're the owner, and he's your asset. So at the end of the day, is if the asset is going to tell, I mean, imagine my fridge is telling me that I don't want to go stand in that corner, I want to stand in this corner. It's my asset. I mean, you belong to me.
Guys,
Not
that's why I
I
say
think
it's about the managers and that's playing chess. The players is just the pawns that they
mm,
use. For me, it's about the coaches. Always about the coaches and about the projects. Always, I
and I,
always say that. A
and I
player
think
has
oh,
no power over
oh,
a
and I was gonna
project,
say
and
sorry,
that's
Yannick.
fine.
No, and I was gonna
over the
say
club.
the saddest part was in Mbappe's case. It's also if you think about a year ago where PSG were. So PSG gave him that contract, but they were probably under the impression that you know what, maybe if this is the only contract he's going to accept, we know Real Madrid is eating at this guy. We know that Real Madrid wants him tomorrow. So like, what can we do? Okay, let's offer him this contract. We got Messi coming in. We have Neymar already here. We have a coach that's trying to do something new at the club. We have a good amount of youngsters coming into the team. And you know what? We're going to go full out. We're going to go for the Champions League this season. Maybe that will convince Mbappe next year. So
Yeah,
it's
but
also at the point they were basically they had no other option than to offer him that kind of a deal.
true. But
One word as well, gentlemen. One word. One word. Ego.
Yeah.
greed.
And unfortunately, if you think about it, he was an 18-year-old player being told that he's going to be the next Henry. He's going to be running the France squad in a couple of years. He's going to be a Ballon d'Or winner. You're making £150 million move to PSG. And think about it. He has that ego problem, and Dembele has the exact same thing after moving 120 million to Barcelona. So Mbappe,
Yeah,
it's the
no, it's back
problem
there.
was that ego was built over all those years of literally, and then at the same time he's in a PSG squad with Neymar, but he's still being treated as the king in the squad. And then he goes to the
Exactly.
World Cup. He's the main player in the World Cup squad as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, he had a good World Cup though.
Yeah, he
Just
did.
fair. I mean, look,
There's only one Terry Henry though. There is only one Terry Henry.
obviously,
Exactly.
he
There'll never be another
he's
one.
there can't
Man
be
was
two.
cheated out of his Ballon d'Or.
Tell me quickly, Jurek, what do you think about your signings that Man United has made? Onana, Mount, what's this bloke's name? Hoyland,
Hojland.
um, yeah, Hojland, and then I think that is the only three so far.
And Johnny
For,
Evans. Don't forget Johnny Evans.
John Evans has just come back to the club, and it's really a signing.
for me, it's about believing in the manager. If the manager believes in the players, if the coach believes in the players, then I obviously, and I trust Ten Hag. And for
Mm,
me, the special one out of all that signings is Onana for me. That is the
mm.
signing.
But
Is it just give the teams a different dynamic.
The
It's an
goalkeeper
extra
there.
weapon. It's an extra weapon for any team,
Yeah.
and it will just put you on the attack much faster. He Ten Hag want to play an explosive type of football
Mm.
of counter attacks, defending and attacking, but very explosive, very dynamic. About all about pressing, playing on the counter press. This is a different type of football that he wants to bring, and it's going to be interesting to see. Also, other team that I love watching is Brighton. That's a team. Brighton, Newcastle. For me, Brighton, the coach of Brighton, that guy is just
Dynamic.
amazing what he does with that players. I think this will be his last season at Brighton as well. I don't see him
One
staying there.
1-0 Manchester City, and guess who scored?
Haaland. So I
We're
heard
gonna
there's a
stop
new song for
Manchester
Onana,
City.
Yorick. Have you heard it?
Say again,
You
Rez.
blow the picture. You just send a bomb in and blow it all up, and they don't exist anymore. But apparently there's a
Guys, there's
new
other
song.
tactics you can use and get rid of Pep, man.
There's a song already for Onana. Have you heard it, Yorick?
Oh
No, I
no,
haven't.
no, no.
Yeah, it goes something like this. Oh Nana, where's the goal? Oh Nana, where's the goal? Because he let a load in pre-season, didn't he? So on a serious note, right? He's been a bit of a naughty boy in the past. Do you think he might not be trouble for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Ten Hag is. I
Um,
think Ten Hag will. I mean, what Ten Hag did to Mr. Ronaldo, I'm sure Onana won't try his luck with that.
yeah, I know
I think
Ten
his
Hag
luck
will
is
be able
coming
to
under a coach
manage
he's
him.
played with before.
Yes,
Yeah,
so I know Ten Hag will be able to manage him, but also he's got big boots to follow as well.
Yeah, that's.
yeah. And
I've got to say,
the
I think
guy.
De Gea was badly treated before he left. I've got
I thought so
I
that's just
also.
my
agree,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. That's because
I mean, for
he
but
all
I
these
know,
years that he's been
but
there.
I know why the coach is also doing that because if you understand, because Ten Hag they come from the Dutch philosophy. It's a type of player that these coaches likes, and I knew
Mm,
he wasn't that type of player for the coach. That's
mm.
the guy.
do you think Ten
Um,
Hag writes a diary because he's always writing notes on the sideline? Dear diary, today we played Arsenal and we beat them in pre-season, so hopefully it'll be good. You
doesn't
know,
mean it doesn't mean Jack. That doesn't mean anything. Preseason matches doesn't mean anything.
I
Pep
know, I
did
Ty,
that.
know. I'm
Ty,
just joking.
I wanna bring Ty in
I
here
have a question for
quickly.
Yorick
Ty,
quick. So Yorick, but I
okay.
must admit that I am pretty sad to see Fred leave Arsenal. I'm Fred leave Man United. Like
I'm
honestly,
also
he was
sad.
one of my
I'm really
favorite
sad,
United players.
but
I
not
wish
for
that
that.
him and
Um,
Maguire could have stayed so many more years.
Not for that reason. It's just the fact that
I'm
he can do something wrong in that midfield.
Ty. I'm so happy. I'm so happy he left. So I'm sorry.
Who you on about? Fred or Maguire?
I really
Both.
Oh,
I prefer Fred over Maguire.
That's a
Maguire's
shame.
mum's had to
And
go with
every
him.
time I look at Maguire, I saw a clip. If I look at Maguire, it's like you're trying to change the style of the player and it won't work.
The
You,
football
It's
it
like
won't
putting
work. You cannot.
your right shoe in your
Uh,
left foot.
I think I think Maguire will do well at the team where they just sit back and wait for the opponents and play a bit deeper. But in an attacking team where the defense playing a high line, I'm sorry you cannot go with Maguire.
Penalty.
Maguire should have gone to Bournemouth.
No,
But
I think
nah, to
Maguire
Bournemouth, I think he goes somewhere better.
is a good signing to go to Hammers, because at Hammers you will probably
Same.
be more needed and be more what's the
Of a
word?
failure. Yes.
Appreciated.
Yeah.
Maguire is not a bad player. It's
What are
just
you
that
watching?
the managers that uses him doesn't use him like the guy from Leicester City.
Same. I
You
don't
know what
think
I
he's
mean?
bad either. I think there is just a thing of, at the end of the day, you have to remember so many managers trust in him, and it's top managers. Then it's kind of like you must kind of think that maybe there's something that we're just not seeing, and then in the spur of the moment, that's just where it all goes wrong for him.
No, what you don't understand, like football is evolving also. Like like the same with the goalkeeper role that evolved, where the goalkeepers need to be able to play out at the back, play
Yeah.
out from the back. The same with defenders also. The
Well,
roles, all the roles is changing, and the game is changing every season. The game is changing, and each player in each position gets his responsibility is becoming more and more, and the
Yeah.
type of things that you need to do. It's all about his style.
but
But I think he will do well at the MS. I think he will do
I
well
also
at
think
West
so.
Ham. I really do. And it's good for him obviously to become the player that we've seen at Leicester. We'll probably see a different type of player at West Ham, but for him to silence all those negative United supporters or football supporters for that. And I think, I mean, when Maguire played against Arsenal, I really thought that he did well for Arsenal.
for Arsenal, yeah. Can I just go back to the goalkeeping thing for a second?
Okay.
So I've got to say, right, I was surprised that Turner's gone because I thought Turner, Arsenal again, sorry, but I just want to bring this up. Turner was a good number two, I thought.
It
Okay,
was.
he's moved on to Forest, but what a great bit of business, Glenwyn. 3
Yeah,
million for Raya,
definitely.
3 million for Raya, and then if
No,
he's no good in a year, we can send him back or pay the 27 million.
exactly. It's
What
good,
a
good
great bit
business.
of business that is.
Good business. And you know what? I love Ramsdale. I love the way he
Hmm.
played. I love the way he grew in the goalkeeping for Arsenal. But he got complacent. He really thought that there's no real
Yeah,
challenge for him,
yeah.
and this will either push him or this will either break him.
Well,
Um,
it's already made progress, Glenwyn, because he started saving penalties.
exactly.
Mm.
I mean, one in preseason, and I mean the one in preseason you can argue is not a good penalty, but the one now against City, that was actually a penalty save. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah.
So, but it will really push him to an extent where he can say, "Oh no, not oh no, no, what's his face, Raya, you can come, but you're not gonna take my spot." You know what I mean? So that's gonna
Yeah,
be
and
a
that's what you need. You
good
need that
fight.
competition. You need that competition for
But
positions.
on the flip side is when and I heard what Brad Friedel said when he was bought by Liverpool. David James was there. And when he came into Liverpool, David James treated him bad. He didn't obviously say how, but he said that two top goalkeepers can also have the negative impact on the team because um, they had to obviously fight for the position, and Brad didn't. I mean, what's his name? James didn't like that.
I don't
So
think Arteta would let that happen, though, Glenwyn. To
no,
be honest.
obviously not. But I mean, it's not impossible for it to creep in. You know what I mean?
And
And I
I've
mean,
got
it's
to
not
say,
really up to Arteta because I mean, technically, if it comes to a situation where Ramsdale knows he was in line to be the number one for England, and now all of a sudden his place is being taken, he's being taken out the squad by Arteta, and I mean that could happen this season if he catches on
yeah,
Yeah,
nonsense in a few games. They could easily take him out
yeah.
the squad. Then I can see
obviously,
him kicking up a fuss.
yeah, definitely. But I mean, he didn't have that last season because, like you say, Des Matt Turner, Tina Turner was
Tina Turner.
uh was a good was a good number two. He was
Yeah.
never a number one at Arsenal,
No,
so
that's
he
true. That's
didn't he
true. But I
didn't
think,
he didn't really push Ramsdale to sort of suggest that, you know what, I'm up for your position. But
no, I agree.
David Raya is that type of player. You know what? He's
But
a no nonsense player. He's gonna
this is
push
what
you
Saka.
until
This is what Saka needs this season. He needs competition for that position, and he doesn't need to be playing every 90 minutes all season long. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
know he's got the problem you've got there. Just quickly, guys, you know the problem you've got here with Saka as an example. Okay, you know he's going to play for England. Yeah, you know that. All right, he wants to play every match, but as it showed at last season, I would say for the last 8 to 10 games, the kid was burnt out,
Yeah.
absolutely burnt out, and
I
and
want to.
so
I want to.
go on.
Sorry, Des. Go for it. Go for it. Go for
No,
it.
no, no, that's it. That's all I was going to say. He was burnt out, and it showed.
I wanted to ask Ty something about Liverpool. Liverpool's midfield situation, especially now with Caicedo's saga and all sorts of things. With that midfield now, currently they don't have a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
What is going to happen with Liverpool? I mean, they attack. I think it's five players. It is Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, Nunes, and Salah, and obviously bringing the youngsters like Jones and Elliot. Their midfield, I mean, to transition or to transform the attack from the back line, keep goalkeeper back line into the midfield, into the forwards, that's going to be a problem.
It is definitely going to be a problem when you're looking at the Liverpool midfield. I definitely think they are still going to pull off a couple of signings between now and the end of the transfer window. It's, I think, I think it's only the midfield though. Like you get a lot of fans that are saying that Liverpool's going to crumble the season because of it. But I mean, I wouldn't even put it past Klopp. Just testing in a couple of youngsters to bring in the squad. Like who was that? Stefan Babevic, the
Yeah,
midfielder. He came
good
into the
player.
squad. He was actually really good. And I mean,
Good
he's
player.
one of the examples where no one was hyping him up in the under 23 squad. He just came out of nowhere.
Mm.
It was just a thing of Klopp just tested him. And there are some youngsters in the 20 in the under 23 squad that he could give a chance to. I think he is just going to go for that defensive midfielder in the squad, and then also I'm sure he's going to let Thiago go before the end of the transfer window, because I saw last there was another deal with Saudi Arabia, but I think Thiago might want to go to the United Arab Emirates because there's a specific thing where he's investing in a club that side. So yeah, I think that's kind of where his heart is leading him. But I think the problems for Liverpool is easily solved if they can just invest a little bit within their squad. I definitely think they're gonna be okay in their attack this season. I think that their strikers and stuff are going to do a lot better than they did last season. Their defense is going to survive them. Is going to survive for another season, and it's
Do you
only their
think
midfield.
so?
It's really just a thing. I think
Their
the defense
defense
can definitely
being,
survive for another
yeah,
one more season. I think they can.
They
being
can have
so
Roy.
so injury prone. I mean, Matip. What is the other guy? Gomez. Van Dijk is not the same after his injury. So I mean, there should be some concerns already.
They
I
can
think,
have Rob
but it
Holding
also
for two
depends
million.
on. Oh, what did you say, Des?
They can have Rob Holding for 2 million.
Maguire.
I genuinely think that it is just a thing of, oh, they can easily take Clement Longley by me. But like I'm thinking that it's just a thing of Klopp has always been this way. Klopp's always liked a small squad. So a lot of people have always been saying, yeah, but they need to sign, they need to sign. If you look back at his Dortmund days, if you look at his first season at Liverpool, half of his job in his first season at Liverpool was just to get rid of the squad that they had. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
always liked a small squad. Then he knows
But
I can actually
but
bring
I
in a
don't
couple of
think that
youngsters
will
here and
work
there.
in England with a smaller squad. For the last 2 seasons, if you look at Liverpool, you could see the players was tired. They were tired.
Yeah.
The players
They were
are definitely
burnt
good.
out.
I'm just saying I'm just saying that
Uh,
that goes towards his tactics. That goes to the way he likes to play. He likes to manage
and
a
Yeah.
squad that's
his
around
style of
20,
play,
22
the
players.
heavy metal football, everything is 100 miles per hour. In England, the players have a heavy schedule.
They do. I mean, Des, yes, is Alex also? Welcome, Alex.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining.
I was just
Is
saying,
there,
Saka
is
needed competition, Alex. You're right.
Yeah,
He does,
definitely.
and I think
Do you,
Kudos could be the if we do follow that through, that could be the player, possibly.
yep. But don't you think
So wouldn't
that
you give the chance to Marquinhos?
no, he's going out on
He's
loan
been sent out on
probably
loan,
to
mate.
Nantes. Yeah,
He's gone on loan again, as from what I just heard the other day.
Oh,
So
so I
front.
didn't see
Yeah.
that news.
maybe next season, maybe, but you know,
But I think of what's his face, Reece Nelson. I was good to see him on training the last couple of days. So I'm sure he's not a left-footed player, and he's not the dynamic type of player, but he can change a bit in that side. But
Mm-hmm.
because Vieira is not going to cut it there. No way.
Cut the guy some slack. Cut the guy
No, no,
some
no, no.
slack.
Vieira, I said it the other day on Alex's show, is that he needs a bit of steak. He needs to eat some steak because he's
Oh
too
no, he
thin.
does
He
need to
needs,
bulk up. I totally agree. He needs to bulk up. He does need to bulk up.
but he's
But
he's not he's not confident enough.
I'll bring him later and I'll have a chat with him. He'll be all right. I'll just tell him what needs to happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no. All joking apart, lads. End of the day, right? End of the day, it's like this, isn't it? Right? We all we love our teams. Yorick loves his Man U, bless him. We love Arsenal, Glenwyn, and
yeah.
obviously Ty loves Ty loves his Barcelona. But have you noticed that even though we support different teams in this conversation we're having tonight, and I know Yorick looks at it from a managerial point of view, so that gives us a different kind of insight. But we are agreeing on a lot of stuff, even though we're having a few
Yeah.
jokes as well. We're having a bit
Mm.
of a laugh, but we're agreeing on a lot of stuff. So end of the day, right? When you care about your team and you want the best for your team, yeah, talking about it like this is the best way to sort it out because we all know
Yeah.
where we're coming from, and whether we agree with each other or not, it doesn't really matter. But Alex makes a good point that Saka needs competition, but I could look at Man United and say so and so needs competition. I could look at Barcelona and say so and so needs. Do you know what I mean? But this is because I've come onto this format with you guys, and I'm learning. I've learned. I've been doing this now for nearly 2 years, Glenwyn. Would you say?
About, yeah. I
Nearly
mean, I've
2 years.
met you on Alex's show about 2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was just before the lockdown. Yeah.
And I love the variedness of opinions. Okay, but it's
This
like I'm learning as well. I'm always learning when I come on here, you know. And
this
I
is
don't
this
just
is
talk English anymore. Anymore, you
this
know
is
what I mean?
something that I really want to understand is Chelsea. Chelsea looks very, very exciting this season. They look very energetic with those youngsters, especially their player Nico Jackson. I think that's one guy to obviously look forward to, and then of course the player that they took from us in January, Mykhailo Mudryk. The link up the play that the two of them showed in preseason. Again, you don't take a lot from the preseason, but you could see what Pochettino was trying to do in 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 the Chelsea team, Yurik. So surely Poch knows what the Premier League is about, and he's changed Chelsea from where they had two bad managers last season into something that you can look forward to excitement in the Premier League.
I'm looking. I'm actually excited, and looking forward to watching Poch doing his thing at Chelsea. But you must remember, Poch was in the Premier League 2 years ago. It's a different, it's a different breed of managers that's in the. Not everybody, but there's a whole lot of new managers in. So a whole lot of the everything changed from 2 years ago when he was last in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah.
Football is still football. I agree, but I think he will be if he hits the ground running, he will be definitely be a threat. He definitely will, but things have changed a lot.
They did.
Does he have the players? He definitely has some quality players. Is it these type of players? I don't know. But the things have changed.
Ty, from a perspective of a neutral in the Premier League, obviously, you in Spain, you in La Liga, and all sorts of things. Um, I'm going to put you on the spot quickly.
Okay.
Your top five, and I think the top five this season is the Champions League spots, eh? I'm not too sure. I think the top five in England is going to be Champions League spot. I think I still need to just double check that. You don't need to give it in order, but you can, if you like, if you feel that your prediction is going to carry some weight there. And you know what? I won't invite you again if you don't put Arsenal first, though. So
How to make friends and influence people.
Okay, so I'll give it in order. I think City is going to win the title. Unfortunately, I genuinely think. I think the thing with City is they looked a bit shaky in pre-season, but when City switches on, they're going to keep it going, and that's the thing. It's right now they seem like that unstoppable force.
Sorry,
So
quickly, Ty. You're talking about City. 20 minutes in, De Bruyne injured.
nah, nah. Still, the thing is, I can. But I mean, look at
Wow.
that. Like out of a game like that, you still wouldn't expect Cole Palmer to pull off a performance in the way he does. So like, there's just
Obviously not.
something in the
Yeah.
way Pep does it. Like Pep just Rico Lewis. I don't know. I don't know how much you guys have seen him. He looks like one of the most exciting fullbacks in the world at this point in time. Like Rico Lewis is just insane.
Yeah.
So there's just something in the juice of these players that I don't know what it is, but there's something special there. So I think City. I think Arsenal is definitely going to pull it close this season. I think Arsenal is going to be second. I'm not someone that's hopping on the Chelsea train, if I'm being honest with you guys, because I still think I've never been someone that believed in a lot of signings coming into a team, because I always think that the more players you add to the squad, there's more egos that you have to deal with. There's more variables that comes into it, and that just confuses the manager at the end of the day. And at the same time, it's hard for me as a La Liga fan to get excited about Nicholas Jackson, because at the same time he's a pre-season player. So like, if I
But
think about him,
he came from
I
you
had a bet.
guys. He
Nah,
came from
listen,
La
I
Liga.
promise you. And he wasn't a star player. That's the thing. I had a bet with my friend the other day. I told him, if Nicholas Jackson can hit double figures this season, then I'll pay you. Because personally, he had 12 goals last season, which not bad for it. But then the season before, he had 2 goals. The season before that, he didn't score. The season before that, he had 1, and that was in the third division. And at the
Yeah,
same
but
time, you're hyping him up to be like he's going to lead the line for Chelsea, a team that's going to want to be challenging for top 4 this season. That's just a bit too
fair.
much to ask for me. So I think realistically, they're still going to go after another striker. And that's why I think Chelsea's not. Chelsea might do 5th or 6th, but I think the team that's going to be ending 3rd is Man United. And then 4th, I'm going for Newcastle again.
Who
Because
was
I
se-
think that
who was
under Eddie
second?
Howe, they could be safe.
Who was second?
Second was Arsenal.
Okay. All right. Just before we go to the next one, here's a question from Alex. Are there still untouchables in the team? Players who
Yes.
Arteta will always play no matter what? Yes. I mean, the first one that came to
Saka.
mind besides Saka is Havertz.
Yeah.
Havertz is going to be a
Yeah.
big
Hold
favorite
on.
of Arteta.
Hold on. Alex, yes. I agree. Yes,
Odegaard.
Glenwyn, you're right. Hello, Richard. Good to see you. Right. Havertz, this is just my opinion, right? Havertz has been brought in for one reason only, Glenwyn. You ready for this? Right?
You go for it.
When he was at Chelsea, scored most of his goals with his head. Yeah? Last two seasons, Arsenal have no people who score goals with their heads. Right? We've paid £65 million or
For a
euros,
header.
right?
For a header.
For a lad that can head the ball and possibly
For
do the odd,
Silky Peter Crouch.
and possibly do the odd volley,
I
right?
like that one, Ty.
Right? Possibly do the odd volley, but he's been brought in to score goals with his head. That's it. That's it, right? That's me. That's the only reason I can justify that we paid 65 million for Kai Havertz, right? But yes, to answer Alex's question, yes, there are players that still feel. I mean, let's be honest. He's a star boy, Saka. We've already said.
And of course, Vieira. Vieira is going to also be one of the players that he's gonna be probably ahead of anybody else coming on that squad, and the substitute bench. I think
I would
you'll
even
even be ahead of Trossard at times.
I would even say that Odegaard could be put in that mould as well.
I
But
think
he's
Odegaard
played,
as well, yeah.
he's played himself into that, I think. I mean, I know I'm going to sound biased because I am Odegaard's #1 fan, but genuinely watching him play, if you haven't got Odegaard in that midfield, we don't function properly. You could even say,
Beautiful to watch.
yeah, you could even say if he stays fit, you could even say Partey could become
Definitely.
an
I mean, we
I
can't
mean,
lose
luckily for
Partey.
Arsenal, your untouchable players are actually good players. Like
Yeah.
you're not like a United that was forced to play Harry Maguire in the squad. You guys have
I
good
mean,
untouchable players.
that
And
that
this
comes
is
from a guy in Kai that didn't like Arsenal. I mean, he had to use Barcelona to win Arsenal to start becoming
That's because of my brother.
Barcelona fan.
But then also, I think here, Glenn, let me put a spanner in the works, right? Okay, I think Man City, even though they've still got the blooming monster robot up front, this season they're going to be looking over their shoulder. I don't think it's going to be as plain as it was last season, right? Because Arsenal are going to be thereabouts. Man U are going to be thereabouts. Liverpool. I agree with Ty about Chelsea. There's too many egos. I think, to be honest, I'm going to put this is the enforcer putting his head on the block. If Pochettino doesn't do anything this season, he'll be like the other two managers before him. He'll be gone. And
Exactly.
let's be honest, Graham Potter's only gone because they didn't want to play for him.
Yeah,
Mm.
guys, we almost
Yeah.
came to an end. Just before we're gonna go any further, Yurik, your top five?
Put Arsenal
Um,
first. You know you want to. Put Arsenal
I
first.
I must put United first, just because I'm biased. Um, I think with City, although they're a big threat, it's very difficult to replace a player like Gundogan.
Mm-hmm.
Not easy to replace, and they will be on the back foot. They won't be at their best.
Mm.
If De Bruyne gets injured this season,
He's
City's
already
gonna
injured
struggle.
20 minutes into
Not
the game.
struggle, but yes, they'll just be in there in the top four and not winning the league. I feel
They've lost Mahrez
so.
as well.
City, yeah, City will be in there. Arsenal definitely. And then my last two I'll put Newcastle and Brighton in there.
Wow.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's different.
You're taking a chance at Brighton.
Oh,
Can I
that's
give mine?
huge,
Can
huh?
I
If
give mine, please,
if
Alex?
you must see the the football that they playing and what they played
Yeah,
at
they
the
play
end
amazing
of last
football.
season.
Mm,
It's a something different,
sure.
and they're gonna surprise a lot of teams.
So you've got number one is City, Arsenal, United, Brighton, and
Yeah,
Newcastle.
I've got United, City, Arsenal,
Oh, United,
Newcastle,
City,
and Brighton.
Arsenal. Okay, sorry, that is a totally different look there. Ty has got City, Arsenal. You said United,
Man United, Newcastle, and then
Newcastle,
maybe Chelsea
and
there. But
maybe
Chelsea's
Chelsea.
only fifth because Tottenham and Liverpool look horrible.
Okay, there's.
Yeah, Arsenal, City, uh, Newcastle, and I think it'll be between.
Are
It'll be
you now biased because you stay in Newcastle, or is it real?
no, genuinely, I think they're going to play well this season. I really do.
Mm.
No bias here, no bias. Um, fourth place is between Manchester United and Liverpool. I don't think Chelsea will get anywhere near. They might be about 7 or 8. But I'm going to say this: Tottenham to be relegated.
Yeah.
The London KFC without Harry Kane will be relegated.
And Tottenham is spending money, but there's absolutely no thought going into their spending.
No.
Yeah, no,
And
true.
Richarlison isn't the man, you know.
Sure, man.
So
And then, of
yeah,
course, in
relegation.
La Liga tie. I'm not really watching La Liga, but between Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico, and probably Valencia. I'm not sure.
Nah, definitely not Valencia. It's the team that's gunning for fourth this season is probably going to be Sevilla. If not Sevilla, then a good shout is going to be Osasuna, who looks insane this season. But
Okay.
the team that's winning the league is obviously going to be Barcelona. Real Madrid, the Courtois injury is going to affect them a lot more than what people think because a lot of what they did last season was because of the fact that Courtois was in their goals. Their defense never looked solid at any point in time, even though they had Alaba, Eden Militao, and they still had Rudiger. It never looked solid, and that was because they had Courtois behind them that saved them. But the team that's going to improve this season a lot is going to be Atletico Madrid. They kept hold of Simeone, and now all of a sudden Simeone is playing attacking football that you guys have never seen before. With Griezmann as an attacking midfielder, Depay as a false nine-ish striker, and then they have I think they can still improve on Morata, but he's their number 9. There's just his only job is just to do what Haaland does, just stand in front of the poles and score goals.
Let's
So
go.
I think they're gonna do really well, and they're probably gonna push us for the title this season. But I still think Barcelona has more than enough to do it.
Wow. And then, of course, the next segment, the last part, as we before we leave, is predictions for the weekend. Right, Des,
Yeah,
tomorrow, first game,
Arsenal Forest. I think we've got to keep a clean sheet. I think 3-0.
3-0. Okay. Yurik,
I'll go with 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0, and of course, tie.
I think Arsenal's gonna come out they're gonna want to make a statement tomorrow. I'm going for 5-0 Arsenal.
5-0.
Look how aggressive
Uh,
Odegaard looks.
yeah, I looked at
What?
Gibbs White and said, "You're not gonna get me this time, bro." I did this specifically. I don't know if you can remember last season when we lost against them. Was it last season or the season before? Nonetheless, but last season when we
Must have been
played
last
them, I
season.
think the two of them had a bit of a tuffle in the midfield there. I think Gibbs White is a good player. I also think he did well in the under 21 championship. Did very well. So it's going to be a good fight between the two of them again. The next one is my score prediction is also 3-0 to Arsenal. By the way, this is going to be Super Sunday. Um, Richard is saying 3-0 to Arsenal. All right, thanks, Richard. 3-0 to Arsenal. Chelsea, Liverpool, a tie.
I think it's gonna be one of those boring games. I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
I think this is going to be a game to be watched because of what happened today. Because both teams are vying for Casado, and both teams are still don't have Casado. 1-0 for Chelsea. Oh, 1-1
No, we're
draw.
gonna go
Sorry,
for 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. I also had 1-1 draw on my prediction for them. No, 2-2. Sorry. Des.
2-0 Liverpool.
Ooh. And Yurik, you probably have a Liverpool lose there.
No, I think the Liverpool players is fresh, and if they play the club football, they'll be fresh and they'll come out guns blazing. So I'll go 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1. All right. 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, 2-0 and a 2-1. Wow. Uh, this is an easy one.
6-0 Wolves.
I was
I'm
gonna say the
joking.
same. I'm
I'm
going for a
joking.
1-0 Wolves win.
Nah, it's Old Trafford, guys. I mean, the last time Wolves won there was quite a long time ago.
I'm a believer.
2-0. 2-0 Man U.
Yurik.
I'm with Jess on that one. Same.
So 2-0, 2-0, 1-0. I'm also going for 2-0 United. Yeah. So that is basically here's something from Richard. Let me just take this away here. They have a high line and will concede tons, but don't think Spurs will be relegated. Even though I'd love to see it, just so I can expense what. Hey, I don't think Spurs will be relegated either. Haaland
Oh,
scored again.
boo. Boo, Glenwyn.
Haaland scored again. 2-0.
Ireland scores again. Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Someone needs to tie his shoelaces
2-1
together.
Chelsea. All right, that is Richard's predictions, guys. I think we came to a massive end. There's another 2-0 for Manchester United. Sorry, Ty, you're out of that one. This is a massive season, and I think we're gonna see a lot of these guys performing. Let me just put this up here. I think we're going to see quite a bit of these guys performing, except for I'm not sure why not Haaland, why Havertz is there. I didn't put Havertz there. Sorry, I didn't put Havertz there. So these guys are going to perform, in my opinion. They still need time. I didn't put Tonali there because we don't speak to Geordies tonight, but hopefully I can have a Geordie the next time on the show.
I'll have to sort you one out, Glenwyn.
Excuse me.
I'll have to get one of my Geordie friends to come on.
Yes, I spoke to you the last time about that one.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll sort that out. Don't worry. Sort
Your
that out.
neighbor is a big Geordie fan.
Yeah, I'll sort that out. Don't worry. I'll have a chat.
Great stuff. Right,
What
Ty.
makes you think Matthias Cunha is gonna shine this season?
Sorry,
what?
He
say
was on
again.
the picture. He was on the picture.
The Wolves-
Matthias
the
Cunha. You
Wolves-
said those are the players that's gonna shine
the
this
Wolves
season in the
player.
Wolves shirt.
The Wolves
Yeah,
player.
Matthias
Yeah.
Cunha.
So you need to get a better editor. Better
Yeah, because I
Photoshop.
mean, where's he? Matthias Cunha on the right
Yeah,
hand
no,
there.
look, I mean, I think he's a decent player. I think he's
Two
a
Premier
decent
League
player.
goals last season for 50 million. Remember,
Look,
they didn't want him. They only got him because of an obligation to buy clause.
but no, that's stupid. But I mean, if you don't want the player, you must give the player something to play for. And I think he's a
Yeah,
decent
he's
player.
bad.
He's a decent.
Yeah, he's a striker that can't shoot.
Look,
Anyway.
in Glenwyn's defence, he's the host of the show. He can put what he wants on.
Oh yeah,
No, but
exactly.
I really believe. I mean, Yurik, I'm gonna come watch your game one day, and I'm gonna tell you that player and that player and that player is a decent player. You're probably gonna agree with me.
He also,
Anyway.
thinks Rob Holding's a good player. All right.
Okay.
Double.
Right,
I could put it out
Yurik,
in.
your last thoughts for this weekend's game from a Man United perspective.
Yeah, all I can say is I'm excited for the season. I officially have the remote.
Won't we all?
Yeah, as your life is not the same without the Premier League. Eh?
Okay.
True.
Yeah, but
mean,
all I can say, I'm just excited for all the teams, watching all the coaches do their thing, and the players to produce the magic.
By the way, who do you guys think is going to get relegated this season?
I think Sheffield United, Wolves, and possibly Forest.
Come on, guys, the coaches
Not even
work too
Luton
hard.
Town.
Yeah, I think Luton Town is going to be a surprise package. Yeah.
I'm not going to take part in that one.
They made better signings than Wolves.
They lost Neto.
I'm probably going for Luton Town, Wolves, and Sheffield United. I just think Luton Town still won't have it in them to survive the season. Wolves is definitely going to go down.
They've lost Neves to Saudi Arabia, haven't they, Wolves?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, good.
Sorry, your last thoughts, Yurik. Are you done?
No, I'm done. I'm good.
Des?
Man, you supporter, he's done.
Yeah,
Des,
let's talk on the field. Let's do the talking on the field.
That's so cliche from a United fan. Des, your last thoughts?
My last thoughts, right? Just been great to be on here with you guys tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant. I have missed it, but I've enjoyed the break. Ty, great to meet you. Yorick, good as always, my brother. Glenwyn, thank you for having me. It's going to be an interesting season.
Definitely.
I'm just here to ride the wave. So if you want to be back here next week, let's do it all again. But all I can say is the Premier League is so tough now because anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So we've just got to play Arsenal as an example, Man U even. I've just got to play how they know how and get the job done. Simple as that.
Richard is also taking a dig at me. He says that that guy is a good player, especially if he plays against Ebbsfleet. Thank you, Richard. Hi. Once again, thank you for on the show your debut. It's a good debut. What is your thoughts for the rest of the season? You can include Barcelona. You can include Barcelona as well.
And what do you think about United's new signing, Greenwood?
Come on, man.
I think it's to what they said, like specifically, it's getting to a top teams are not as well. You would assume, like I think Tottenham is going to crumble this season. So when you have Tottenham that's crumbling, and then you have teams like Aston Villa that's coming up, you have teams like Luton that even though I'm putting them in the relegation zone, I still kind of feel like there could be something exciting coming from that team because of their backstory and the players that
Mm.
they bring into it. So the coolest part is you actually are going into a season now where you're looking at it and you don't know what the results are. I mean, unless you're playing against City with Haaland and De Bruyne in the team, but it just makes the league more exciting. And for on the Barcelona side of things, we also start our season against Getafe on Sunday, so I'm expecting a cool result there. I'm hoping that Fati can come back to his best this season, and also at the same time, I'm excited to see the other signings in the squad.
Talking about Fatih, I think he's been linked to us.
He has, yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
link with it, but it's basically on the basis that the club wants to force Ferran Torres out of the club. But Ferran Torres is staying put. He's like, nah, I'm not going to leave. I have a 4-year deal. I'm going to stay here. I'm performing in the preseason and whatever. So then the only other option for fair play for us to kind of balance our books would be to sell one of our highest earners. And Fatih is one because when he changed his shirt and when he signed the new contract, he's now on 180,000. So he's basically one of our highest earners. It's
Sure.
him and Lewandowski. Him and Lewandowski and Frankie De Jong.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Um, that's it. That's only the four of us. Yeah, guys, thanks a lot again, once again, for coming on. I just want to, don't go yet. I just want to ask you off air a question which Ty has posed to me when I invited him. So, but yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, and I hope to obviously see you guys very soon. Yurik, you and I will obviously stay connected um, on the chat for tomorrow. Yeah, and of course, Alex. I'm not sure who else is there. Richard and Abdu. Abdu, I am very sorry. We do make interactions with the chat. Only the time when we do that is obviously when we get to that point. I'm sad to see that you've told me that we don't interact with the chat. I'm sorry for that, but hopefully, if you watch again and you see this, I am sorry. Anyway, now guys, let's say goodbye and then go enjoy the second half of Man
Mm-hmm.
City and Burnley. Burnley nil, Man City 2, and it's 45 minutes in. So yeah. Anyway, those who's going to watch the show on a later stage, thanks for watching, and also thanks for making time for Guna Matters. And we are going to see you next week again.